Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first match, the final day here for week number 4 for the ESL Pro League Season 6. My name is Blue. Joining me here once again is Launders today, and we're going to be jumping into the action in just a couple of moments. It's going to be Cash for our first match, and the Renegades will be taking on OpTic.
Yeah. Renegades known for their T side, especially on Cash as well. They have kind of an interesting approach to it. I actually really like what James mentioned, which was that it's cheap to get map control on T side, and I think that's one of the defining characteristics of a map that really does make a difference in when you're speaking in broader strokes. So I think that it's great that as a B player, for example, that you can throw a B main, smoke, a flash, and a molly all by yourself and get so much information, bait so many resources, take so much important control of the map, and like be able to have some kind of tell or help your teammate just like one set of grenades. Whereas like Banana on Inferno it can be like, you know, 2 Molotovs, a bunch of nades. Sometimes you have to wait for it because you get blind. You have to throw your own flashes. You don't even need to throw one for B main on Cash. And sometimes you do, but it's a little bit more situational. And overall, it can be pretty cheap. And that's why it can be kind of T-sided sometimes, because a lot of times a T-sided player that makes an individual play can get a lot done with very little resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, obviously, OpTic are currently in the lead for the league with a 10-2 record. Do we think that they're going to be taking control of this matchup, or is Renegades going to have the potential to upset here? Because it's actually, you look at it, it's actually a pretty close match, right? It's not you know, a done deal for OpTic here.
Yeah. Actually, I think it might be a pretty close match. I do think that OpTic will win. I think they're just getting better and better. I don't know what it's like in the camp with I'm a Pet and then Freiburg calling and everything. He seems like he's incredibly on point himself, definitely pulling his weight. And overall, they just I felt like they got past the early matches. They got fortunate with kind of the draw of teams that they played, and then they started playing good teams and they're still showing up. And I think that has to do with the fact that they've, in between those matches, practiced a lot and are now in a place where they're actually quite stable, along with being full of talent. So
it's also not even that they practice a lot too, but actually the team has given them the budget to kind of go back to Europe and do even more practice over there, which a lot of people would agree that that's an elevated level of practice that they're getting.
Yeah, that's cheating.
If they go back to Europe and are able to scrim against FaZe and all those guys over there too.
That's kind of messed up. Oh my gosh.
I mean, money talks, you know.
That's right.
But as the execute comes in, we have Renegades on the T side here. Magic's going to be looking to strike first from the other side, but it's actually Mixwell spamming through the smoke that gets one. Just does get pushed out of the sight, but nicely done. Finds a kill. Unfortunately, he's going to get dinked and taken out by Nifty just a second later. But now we've got Alu coming in on the backside. He does some great damage to Nap, bringing him down low, but Nifty does trade before he can get a kill, taking him out of the action. But with Freiburg's additional pick up there, it does give OpTic back the man advantage. Nicely shot by Mixwell. He goes in and takes down JKS, and HS will finish it off with a kill on the Naf.
That's the Cash classic, the A hit with the standard smoke, jump out on site, get the bomb down, play the after plant. I think they could have been a little bit more aggressive in their after plant. There was a lot of kills that came up later on, but OpTic were in a position where they, if you see Mixwell pick peak default, right? And the reaction time there is actually not that quick, but when you're holding an angle that's like a right angle on default, whoever peeks you is going to be able to get the kill. It's really hard to be faster than the person peeking you, and that actually has nothing to do with online. It just has to do with the fact that whoever peeks is more prepared to shoot, and so the reaction time is heightened for that reason. That's like a misconception that people have about reaction times and peeker's advantage.
Well, now we are going to see these players splitting up into the second round here as Renegades still will look to play this in a default fashion, despite the fact that their buy is going to be relatively limited. Only a P250 sitting on JKS, the other 4 just on Glocks.
Yeah, so just, I guess, to touch more on it, since they're probably just going to do something very simple. In that after plant of 3v3, your job's not done, basically. So being aggressive, it seems like can be too risky, but it also might be necessary as a terrorist to make it a 3v2. That's when it becomes a much more manageable after plant situation. But because of the peeker's advantage, if you hold these angles that are really wide open, CTs will peek you, and they'll almost always win those fights.
We do have the Renegades slowly lurking in, as you were mentioning before. We're probably going to be seeing something incredibly simple from them. And that seems to be holding true, as 4 of them are going to go inside of A main to quickly execute outside with just that one flash supporting them. And then they have one more player moving out from the squeaky. As expected, it does go pretty handily into the favor of OpTic to start things off here, and no trades at all. It's a very clean round from OpTic as they started off nice and easy, 2-0.
At the very least, they were hoping for a push. They couldn't find one. Moved into A main, split the side off a flash. I do like how they didn't die in their default, because 5 blocks, it's a little bit stronger than 4 or 3. You might be able to get a plant, but all OpTic did was what they did made sense. They played back. They didn't play positions like forklift, which sometimes that, because it's so close and you can get jumped up on, or maybe they throw a quad smoke and a rusher guy at fork, that can be a liability. Instead, everyone just played back on the site, tradable positions, and kind of a cone fire, and nailed it. Easy. A main control here for round number 3. They got a lot of info there. There's a bomb is going squeaky, which is kind of interesting because they might assume that it's actually not going to be an A play. The really interesting part, however, is that there's still 3 CTs here. Boosting silently, absolutely critical, and you can see they're doing it very carefully. Freiburg has to fall down, not on the floor, but on the pallet just before the floor, and it seems like they've done it without making any noise.
Now as they burst out, however, he's still going to get that first kill with Mixwell. Nicely done, and he even continues that aggression down into Squeaky as he takes down Naf, and then out again to find Nifty. Mixwell just dominates the entire take. JKS will finally trade him and take down Magic, so he's doing some damage at least, but Alu out of Z quickly shuts him down before he can get that play.
So right out the gate, you have the A main control, which might make you think as a CT that that it might not be A or might be A later on. And then they went for the boost because they were probably going to rotate off right after that. Door opens as soon as our player gets to forklift. We have one on top to trade out. Kind of unfortunate timing for Renegades. Interesting situation. I'm curious if it was like 20 seconds later what A site would have looked like if OpTic had not gotten any more information. But from there, Renegades are like, oh man, we ran into what looked like a stack site. Did they have some kind of read on us? And I don't think they actually did. So
just good play from Mixwell there, saves the day and keeps OpTic in control of things here. Still with minimal losses too. Only 2 players going down towards the end of it. And now Renegades end up on another full eco round. HS, well, getting a nice little HS for himself right there. Going for the second, and now number 3. They just keep taking that position there. And now over to the pistol to close out for one more. It's a casual ace from HS.
Yeah, super casual ace. It's like one of the stat pad aces you can throw in a highlight reel. Why not? And this is the best part. How do you think he actually gushed him? It definitely was a gush, but it wasn't 100 damage even though he had no head armor. But yeah, tons of money. No ground made, no bomb plant, and in the last 4 rounds, we only had 1 plant on the pistol, so it's going to be a buy save situation for Renegades. They do pick up an op. They have full nades on everybody except for JKS, and they move into another default. They do play their T-sides out quite slowly, you'll notice. And they're going to kick it off with Nifty coming over boost. There's no boost molly to disincentivize him from peeking here, and posting makes a lot of sense. Actually goes for a second scope at the wrong moment.
That is going to cause him to miss the first shot, first attempt to take down one of these players, and quite a bit of nade damage thrown back at him too. Renegades, besides that, they were making 0 movement across the map, just holding in their default. And besides these players stacked around mid, they've got Azur over towards the squeaky doorway, but that's pretty much it. They're not trying to make any additional moves here, trying to get any map control.
I wonder if they called out that Nifty likes to go boost with his op, because it seems like they held on to their nades to white box, and that is quite interesting because you don't typically see those nades get thrown that late. We're going to have the Z smoke come out. Just a nice soft bounce. It's a little bit poofy, but that's how it lands. And there will be no response from the CTs. Oh, there is a molly. Okay, 2.
Just a little bit late. They were expecting Renegades to try and prop up their own nades, following that one up. A few more anyway. And now they re-smoke in the same exact spot, a little bit deeper this time, but now we might actually start to see some action. However, it's going to be a bit of a misdirect here as they still have Ustillo up on boost, but he's alone. And it's actually a great distraction being done by the player outside of mid there, as now HS, the smoke unfortunately is imperfect, so HS is allowed to just go off here. 2 quick kills for him before he's traded by AZR. And now Nifty, he works his way back in there too for a second pickup against Freiburg that will be site control, but they are going to be outnumbered and pretty heavily hit too. Azur's down at 56 HP, and Nifty not doing himself any favors at 21, so this retake is definitely going to be winnable for OpTic as they try to go forward though. Nifty is stuck in checkers with the op, so he's not going to be as easily workable from that position. He's also going to have to watch out for the vents push, as that's exactly what's going to end up taking him down. Azur now trying to hold, but ultimately gets overwhelmed by the 3 remaining players from OpTic, who shut it down and take a 5th.
They seemed like they were so ready for that B hit. Like HS was just positioning himself perfectly. He realized that there was likely going to be a lurk through that B main smoke, was correct about that first kill. Could have died and lost the whole round because of that. And those are the first 2 nades that they calculated. I think based on, well, Nifty's shot, first of all, but the fact that they held on to them for so long was quite curious. I like that they do that. Sometimes pre-nading makes sense, but white box is a point of safety, so why not wait until there is actually presence made at white box or at boost to try to get some damage in. Definitely making a case for being a little bit more careful.
Flash is working their way out, and Mixwell, he's going to push his way in here now. They got a good lineup of players if they bite into it, and there you go, Nifty with 1 trade, but that is it. And remember, I think this was a full gun round from Renegades too. Maybe a bit light on utility, but they still fought into it. JKS is trying to maximize damage here now as he does end up finally taking down Mixwell. Pushing into Sunroom, he's going to have another battle. Thankfully, it's against a player that is already low, HS, at 16 HP, trying to play inside of there. And JKS just playing cautious here, trying to make sure that nobody flanks him that quickly. We won't see that. OpTic are playing stable, but the problem is in waiting this long and try and go for that kill on HS. He now has Alu to deal with as well. He's going to be waiting right around that corner. Actually can't even cleanly peek this anymore too, and Alu will shut it down for OpTic.
That's really emo, you know, like two rifles push up, a flash comes out, and they don't do much else, like not even an op here, they're just spraying. It's not even really headshots happening, and they're getting so much damage off, and they just kill 4 people who are trying to set up for like a fast B hit. This is kind of like what they wanted. That molly, if it landed a little bit later, or a little bit earlier, I should say, they would have taken more damage, might have heard the damage, and it would have like tipped them off as to like how many people are there, but still, that's 2 people pushing up with rifles, using barely any utility, and spraying 4 people on a full rifle round down. That sucks, man.
Yeah. Now Renegades end up in another half-bot situation for the majority of their players, spreading them out again as they do look for any early entries that they may be able to find or any early picks against more aggressive OpTic players. But OpTic are remaining stable, holding to their usual angles here and not overcompensating. They did actually spot Nifty trying to swing out there as he goes hunting for a quick headshot off the Deagle, but nothing is going to be found by either side as they do just get the intel off of each other. That nade's going to do a little bit though. Goes on a Nifty, knocks out at 25 HP, and now Mixwell does spot the hit, but he gets dinked actually down to 11 HP, so he's got to be a little bit more careful here. I may have to have Magisk push forward a little bit more to take his position there. JKS actually is going to finish off Alu too with a nice little headshot there, or takes down Alu, I should say. Mixwell's the one that had been hit earlier. Well, they try to hold this off, but there's another one from Ustillo. Mixwell getting at least 1 kill before he goes down, but all of a sudden, this is a 2v4. Freiburg looking to pen off at least 1, but he can't do it. He'll try to toss in the nade. I don't think he's low enough for that to do much damage, however, and even the nade is not really going to connect that much. So as OpTic starting to move back up, they will attempt this retake. JKS is still waiting in mid 2, where he's got 1 more free kill, and now everything falls to HS. But he's brought it down to a 1v2. This isn't exactly unwinnable. He also knows about this player. Mid goes in, gets the quick headshot, and now only 1 remains. It's Aza sitting in the backside over here behind the quad boxes. He's going to try to win this out. HS doesn't know he's here just yet. He didn't. Oh, he did see it. He saw it at the last second there, so he's going to push up. He knows he's going to peek it, and there you go. HS pulling it off there in the 1v4, 1v3 clutch that he pulls off for OpTic Gaming. It was a 2v4 situation as well that they managed to win out there. So that's got to be tough for the Renegades.
That's sick. What did they say about patience again, Blue?
Pays off.
Pays. It's a virtue, Blue. Oh man, and that's what we saw there. I think that was a situation where you can see by the way he was aiming that he didn't notice a shadow, but his teammate called it. Yeah. Yeah. So good awareness from his teammates. I mean, that's just the value of having like other people watching while you're dead. As long as they're not talking too much, you know what I mean? So as long as they're not they're keeping their hands off the wheel.
Basically, it's not MM.
That's right.
Yeah. Alu's going to strike first on this round here. Oh, looks for a second one, too. He's got to be careful with those peeks, because he is going to give you still the room he needs to pick up a headshot here. And Freiburg caught peeking, too. A little bit over-aggressive. Not necessarily worried for OpTic yet, though, considering how they've been able to recover easily in these situations before, but we'll see. And nicely done from Mixwell. Gets himself all the way out, but he just barely misses Nifty, and now they know he's here, too. So Aza is going to be able to swing back through the squeaky hallway, taking down Mixwell and setting it up for another 2v4.
So you remember that the big comeback that SK had on Liquid on Cash? Yeah. There was a round that Cold Zeris looked at Fallen because I think like Simple repicked with the op, and they were getting too cocky, and then Cold Zeris said, "Okay, we're gonna win this," and it was like 15-7. And then they actually came back and won. That kind of just happened, except I don't know if Renegades have the same resiliency as SK do. Because Alu, like re-peeking white box, it was a little bit, it's a bit of a frivolous peek, but you also, that's like normal. You know, if you're up so much, you're gonna have people do things that are even more aggressive, and when it gets really frustrating is when they get away with that, because then it just becomes a game of confidence. Shots you're not even supposed to hit start connecting. Everything starts going your way, even the stuff that makes no sense. But it is good though that Renegades can show themselves that they can capitalize when a mistake like that does come out. You could see Ustillo expecting the repeat from Alu, capitalizing on the headshot right away. Renegades put a round on the board. It's round 9. They have an op, they have some money, and they saved a lot of people that last round. So overall, pretty successful.
And on the other side of things, actually don't end up with a whole lot of cash left over after this buy, so they could actually find themselves broken relatively quickly if they're not careful. Renegades, in the meantime, back up to full strength very quickly. They're going to be looking to impact here, but they do spread out again, playing into that default, as we've kind of come to expect at this point. 8 rounds in, and they pretty much play this on every single round so far. So in about 30 seconds or so, we will see them group up towards one of the two sites and then look for their actual execute. But right now, it is just posturing up, trying to get little bits of control here or there in the B halls and A main potentially. And seeing as well if they can punish any early aggression from the OpTic side. We're not seeing a whole lot of that besides maybe Mixwell pushing up towards vents. Everyone else is sitting back pretty well restrained at this point from the CT side. No one really rotates or anything either. It is a little bit heavy towards B on the defensive side of things. They kind of left mid open, which is a bit surprising actually considering how often we've been seeing Renegades going in for mid control. You think OpTic want to put constant pressure on that to resist it, but they seem to have an inkling this time as to suggest for why they would need 3 players on that site over towards B. So let's hope it's the right read. And it seems like it is correct too, as Renegades are going to look to execute here. They're just keeping the one lurker over in Squeaky, but even he's turning around now. That's going to be Azur going back to regroup with the rest of the team. Yustillo dropping in, but oh, Freiburg responds nicely, saves his teammate's life, keeps them all in check there. And besides JKS's 1 trade on the Freiburg, it was 4 straight kills for OpTic, leaving only Azur alive on that rotate from Squeaky Halls.
Azur alone, 1v4, 20 seconds left, bomb down. It's going to be tough. There's not a lot of hope for him. Rotates are going to come in. I mean, he actually can't even get enough. There's not enough time to get any of these kills. That's 1 frag. Actually, everybody's now in rotator spots. He's got to kind of give this up, though, because he could end up dying after time, which would be a huge mistake. Somehow, a 1v1 with 2 seconds to go.
Yeah, so Alu does decide to hold back there right below Heaven, just in case he ends up clutching that one out.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look at the perspective from HS here in the fight. Yeah, he got a really advanced warning as to that push, so he could swing out, get a nice little double kill from the corner, and his teammates took care of the rest. Yeah,
he's been a Rocket B, and he's been playing that position really well in different ways, being kind of floaty depending on the B main smoke, or they're playing snacks, and being a real problem, and hitting all his shots too. His HSP is really good. Nice and high. Whoa, if he hits that shot coming over boost, it seems?
Yeah.
Mixwell gonna fall off. Now, I just want to pay attention to the adjustment here. So, Mixwell's actually staying on white box. Interestingly enough, will he have a flash from his teammates? Oh, that's actually just a fall off. So, using that smoke purely for the fact that he expected the T's to get extremely aggressive and try to get that kill right away.
So he'll fall back to the site. They still have the advanced aggression from Alu coming out all the way into Sunderland, though, so he's going to act as early warning if they try to swing into B again. And you'll note, too, that he does go over to the right side of the door so that he shields himself a little bit from any vents pressure that may work itself out here, considering that Renegades now have mid-control. Renegades themselves still trying to figure out exactly how they want to play this, though. It does look like it's leaning towards some kind of a vent hit, but they're keeping players in Squeaky Halls and Highway just in case they want to try to go towards A. And now, with the kill against HS, they may consider an A hit, too, since they're hitting out the numbers back over there. Magisk attempting to spam does not work out too well, and now we have the rotate coming in from the other side, but it's probably too late here now, as Alu is alone in a 1v5. And the odds are very much stacked against him here. Getting at least 1 kill, though. But as he dips away, there's Nat, who was waiting for him as he leaped through the vents.
Yeah, it's a situation where at the very least you get 1 kill. You want to split A. For OpTic, they fell apart on all fronts, but you could see what Renegades were trying to do. Great follow-through on their plan. And yeah, that initial kill just to get Freiburg as he was pushing up. And then every other kill comes a lot easier because people are in playmaking mode and they feel like they've got to bail their teammate out. So that's why every time you get a kill, if it's early enough, you're like, all right, wait 20 seconds, hold on to an angle, so see if the CTs go and try to get any information or do some kind of double push. If the CTs capitalize on that, well, they're on even footing. If they don't, well, they're really, really far behind. But they had to do something. Because sitting around and waiting will only result in a split happening to them, and with less players alive, that's way too difficult to deal with.
And Op will get the first kill of the round again here for the Renegades as Nifty pushes forward, knocking out HS. 4 still up and running here for the OpTic gaming side of things, as they'll spread their players out here and try to use aggression on this eco round. So that's an important note too, as they did get broken again relatively quickly, primarily because of the fact that they've been so haphazard with their player base after they've kind of gotten into these situations where they've already won the round, like we saw back before, where Azur was able to basically 1v5 in that post plant after he'd already lost the round. And now Renegades know they've gone in, they've taken that aggressive control, so they're going to have to play a little bit more carefully here around A main as they just back their players up. It looks like they're just going to avoid that entirely and push over here towards the B halls instead, where Mixwell, who was waiting, but Nifty spots that anyway and takes him down.
Right under the crosshair, and just before he could let go of that mouse one. That Azur also gets to kill A if they were trying to hold on. This is good. They just went ahead and followed the kill. If they took any more time, it might have been a little bit more difficult. Hopefully they smoked the cross. Yeah, it does come out. Nifty crouching under another deagle shot, and leaving Magisk alone outside the vent in a 1v5 with a deagle. What are the Betway odds on this?
Not good.
Not good.
For Mixwell, anyway, or Matchday.
Yeah. Solid so far. It's been a good comeback. And I really like how Renegades play because you can watch how they play, and they play like very, very structured on the T side, and it's also like default heavy as well, which is pretty much like the core of any good T side on like any map. So you can learn from them a great default. You can learn how to move together as a team. Their spacing is really good. Anti-ecos are quite sound, and ever since they capitalized on that like one round at mid where they got that opening kill, the repeak from Alu that you still killed him on, they've put 2 rounds together, have OpTic on a double save.
Quick push from OpTic this time, but JKS does hear it moving. However, he's only able to take down 1 player, although he does good damage to a second. Now, Nap next up to bat here, and he's got the bomb too, so be a little bit careful. We got some additional support from Nifty, but now they're swinging outside. They're still getting pitched on, but they're able to outrun them. They even get this nice little smoke in here just to make sure that nobody gets headed off. Nifty having himself some target practice, does spot the foot of Freiburg. It's a quick second kill for him, and now with the bomb on the ground, the round is very much secure for the Renegades as they're going to claim a 4th here.
It's going to be easy, and again, wow, that was a nice shot from Al. I don't even know how he did that, actually. That was insane.
Yeah, he looks for a second. However, he's not so ready for the shot this time, and it's Mixwell up in the fight as now he picks up an AK, but they know he's there, so Azure is able to spam through, taking him down, and Nap will seal the deal, giving Renegades that 4th round as we go into some of the closing rounds of the half. Just 3 to go, and we'll get to see if Renegades can round this comeback up to around a 7-8 scoreline. And
it looks like they might be able to, because whoever wins the rounds later in the half, they've done it off the back of adjustments. But they've also done a great job with like keeping people alive on their team. They're in a great position where if OpTic win around, they're not necessarily out of the half. They can still buy, which is a very big deal. And so far, everything they've been doing later on has worked out. So it's like up to OpTic to try to react in the face of adaptation, which is what is the highlight for Renegades right now.
Nifty sneaking forward here. He does get the spot onto Alu, as that is going to be an advantaged angle for him. So he takes him down there. And again, another early start for the Renegades in their favor here, so we will see Mixwell moving forward with a smoke out to try and block this off and get the op. I'm not sure if the player at Squeaky managed to see Mixwell, so he's going to walk forward here, try to creep in, and see if he can get flanked behind these players. They're in his way. I'm not sure if they've realized it yet, as he does kind of stand in their progress here. Now he'll wait for the smokes to fade away. Unfortunately, however, he's not able to spam through that smoke so accurately without risking his own life here. You can see spinning the crosshair. He's like, come on, go away, smoke. And now he's spotted Nifty. He knows where he is, but he's going to wait for his teammates to get into a better position so he can swing out, try to multi-frag. And there we go. There's 2 for him. Brings it down to a 2v3 at the very least. But his teammates are still blocked off by smokes very heavily. Freiburg will get up on top. He's going to have to watch out over there, and now he's alone. Freiburg 1v3, but won't get anywhere with it as Renegades claim another gun round.
So when a play like that is permissible is when if your teammate goes down and there's nothing you can do, then you can go ahead and play for yourself. And playing in a smoke like that allows you to stay alive very long. And if you know that they're all going to come out, no one's going to stay in A main, which you typically wouldn't have unless like both kills come out extremely early. You want to make sure they get on the site first. Then you can do something like that and give your team a chance in the after plant. But if you've got a teammate alive on the site, super irresponsible. Don't do that.
So Nifty will start this off well again, and another early kill goes by the way of the Renegades. As they push forward into the B halls, Freiburg was waiting with the deagle, but he is only able to get 1, and now since they are playing out aggressively, I think they might expect HS to be in this position. Yep, they check for it. Do some great response from HS after getting tagged through the box, but JKS quickly trades it out, prevents any massive damage from being done. Mixwell tries to rush in from heaven, but that won't work, and for Magisk, with only a P250 and armor in hand, there really isn't anything that he can do.
Already witnessing the comeback at this point. We're going to have 6 rounds on the board. Magisk dropped his only gun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in an unreachable spot, too.
All right. Oh, no, he got it.
Oh, he did get it. Okay. Hey, look at that. Magisk with the magic.
As he is able to retrieve that at least and stand a fighting chance. I thought for a second he was just going to throw that away and jump into the sights and knew the round was over. But that'd be a little bit foolish. Now he does spot some of his opponents there. And ultimately, may still end up diving in from heaven anyway, trying to get a couple kills on exit. As they're evacuating out of the site now, JKS was waiting for it, and he actually did do some decent damage to Azure there, so it might have been a headshot. But Renegades still, once again, close it out, and we'll go into round number 15 with a very close scoreline.
Very close scoreline. The biggest thing for OpTic is the confidence at this point, because so far Renegades have probably won more rifle rounds versus OpTic than vice versa. And for OpTic, that's a little bit worrying, because they should be looking to have like the strongest halves in all of their games possible, especially when you have a good start. You really want to close out, like, if you start up 8-1, you want to close that half out 12-3 just for the sake of your confidence, because there's no reason you should be losing so many rounds in a row. But Renegades have definitely earned their keep and have been stalwart and confident and steady in all their takes, and made it seem like it's been really difficult for OpTic to have an answer for it. Nice.
Magisk thinking he could sneak into A main there early on, but Yustillo quickly pops up and replies with his own headshot to knock out Magisk.
So yeah, so let's see what OpTic do. They lose one player, A main control is taken. They might just be victim to an execute, but again, no information, so you've got to try to do something. Here they're getting aggressive at mid, but no one's looking to push in quite yet. Now it's all on Mixwell.
Unfortunately, he's stuck by
he's jumping up on forklift.
He's trying to, yeah. I think he got
it. He's being so annoying again. Look at that.
Now he's got an up in hand too, so we can do some real damage here. Smoke's still blocking it though, so he realizes the M4 is probably a better choice for this fight. As he gets flashed, though, he goes through the smoke, groups up with the rest of his teammates, and now he's going to push back in. Yustillo's blind, however. Finally, he'll get traded by Naf, and Naf trying to hold the line, uses too much ammo, forced back into the corner where we will see another kill from Freiburg, and Alu also strikes from further back, leaving only Azo alive in this 1v2, and he's stuck in A main, really can't do a whole lot just yet. He's going to try to pop flash back in. They haven't jumped on the bomb just yet, and the flash forces them away. Nice spot by Azur there to take down Alu. All of a sudden, it's a 1v1. There's not a whole lot of time left, and Azur out in a quick headshot to shut down Freiburg and secure that 7th round. The Renegades come back in stunning fashion after a great start from OpTic. We'll see if they can keep it going in the second half.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
And welcome back again here, folks, where it's OpTic versus the Renegades. And while things started off dominant for OpTic Gaming, it turned around very quickly, and the Renegades managed to come back. They are still behind by 1 round, but it's as close as it can get now, 8-7 on cash.
There was no luck involved either. It was really like very patient play, a lot of strong defaults, pushing up map control, and working really hard for those opening picks, and then from there being very careful about not giving it up or allowing it to go to a 4v4. Every single time they got an advantage, Renegades were able to take that round with them. So it gives me a lot of faith in their T side in more of like a universal sense, like non-map specific, right? Because they just are fundamentally doing a lot of good things being safe, you know? And I can see that, like, if, you know, they have these fundamentals on cache, they'll have them on other maps as well. Whereas kind of the thing that set OpTic off on the path of losing rounds was just kind of one error that Renegades capitalized on. So it's kind of a testament to both teams that they were able to have a half that's so close in the first place. Now we move into the first pistol. Round 16, everybody has armor except for Freiburg and Naf. Naf is a utility player for Renegades with a kit and a smoke. And Azza takes a quick peek.
Did he see anything? That was the question. It looks like he did with the way that he fell back so quickly. But we won't know, of course, until the execute rolls in. And we're starting to see rotations over there, too. So definitely looks like he managed to spot something out of that. But the Mixwell still is going to be able to strike first over here in mid, taking down Nifty. Aza still waiting back over here behind the forklift too. HS finding another entry here. 5v3 already. Aza with a nice, oh my goodness, 2 quick headshots from Aza. He might find a third one right here. He's having trouble with that one a little bit though. But Magisk, as he moves in, he unfortunately will go down the JKS. So all of a sudden it was looking fantastic for OpTic. They just turned a 3v5 into a 2v1 in the favor of Renegades. And now it's only on Mixwell. He has to deal with both these players at the same time too. And JKS from range will finish it off, giving the second pistol to the Renegades.
Hell yeah. One thing that was weird was Nifty's spot. He was like in front of White Box, which is like no one can help you there. And what was his plan? Was he, if someone comes over boost, they have an advantage over him. If someone peeks out mid, he might have an off angle. He could take 1 or 2 bullets, but he can't fall off from there. So it's really weird for him to be standing out there unless his plan was to push up eventually. Either way, Mixwell capitalized on that, and still Renegades win the round. Good rotate in from Aza, obviously, capitalized.
Yeah. That was a really good move for him to be able to spot that intel that early on. So now Renegades not only get to keep their momentum going from the first half, but they get to really capitalize on it too by potentially taking the lead here in a second. We have the usual second round force buy from OpTic since they didn't get a plant in the pistol. Oh, this is going to be a great timing on this nade here too. It does end up going out a little bit late, but still Naf, actually JKS helps him out with that one as he's going to be completely blind, still able to take down the kill on Mixwell. Naf, oh great spinning here as we do see Naf able to help out and actually maximizes the kills there. I think he ends up with 3 on the round, shutting down OpTic and now taking the lead away from them too.
Whenever you have a bunch of wallflowers on an execute, it's because the flashes are really good, because that's the first thing everyone does is like they jump under cover or beside cover or against a wall. And that was a great round of good counter flashes that help JKS on the site into B main. That's what you always have your mid player rotate when they come. They throw a flash into heaven, just as you can see Naf running into right now. And all those flashes are extremely effective. So JKS also got a incredibly important kill. OpTic Gaming flashed him so well on the site, and he had 1 player running up default, but because they were both blind, JKS saw him for a split second. He killed him. That guy wasn't on the site with him. That could have just made everything super weird.
So the split of players across the map here, we do have, oh, he still is going to be able to spot Alu from the backside. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too long range for the UMP to be able to take him down. It does serve as a small amount of intel gathering at the very least. Mixwell as well jump spotting, trying to make sure that no one from the Renegades will be able to push in from mid and really punish these OpTic players. Magisk still ends up peeking out directly into Ustilo there, and he only loses 40 HP. Getting some really good damage in here. Even though he goes down, it's still probably a victory for him, as now Aza can just roll right in, capitalize on this, spam down 3 more players, and leave it all up to HS from OpTic's side of things, who may only go down in that first duel, giving the round to the Renegades, and a nice little 4K for Aza there again.
People's hands are going to be sore clapping for Aza. He's just got, he's not letting anyone have a break right now. If you give him, you miss 1 shot, he's going to kill you. Miss a shot, dead. Miss a shot, dead. No problem. He's shutting it down early. It's just really important for the sake of like not getting plants. One of the big reasons that OpTic had like a good start to the half is because Renegades won plant in like the first 5 rounds in total or something like that. So extremely good for making sure that you can get to that quick 5-0. And now we're getting into that territory if they do win this rifle round.
Well, we do have the majority here of the OpTic players, again, just running out and playing into a default once more as we've seen in the past, but it looks like Renegades are going to get a little bit aggressive here now too, since they do have a bit of a lead to play with. And they won the last, I think this might be actually a straight streak for them if I recall correctly, maybe 1 or 2 rounds being traded out there, but this has to be like 8 to 10 rounds plus at this point that they managed to go on a run for it. But as they push back up, Naf, this is going to be great, too, as OpTic are going to execute right over the top of this. We just have to make sure that Naf doesn't get too greedy and over pushes it as he goes in. Oh, Alu's ready for it. Azur is here to trade, however, and once again comes out on top. And now if Alu pushes over, he's only got 9 HP. He really can't take that duel versus Azur right now.
Yeah, see how you see he's working the headshot angle. So it's like, if you kill me, you have to do 100 damage, but you can't kill me for 5 damage.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think you heard a step. Yeah, Azur's making a little bit of noise here. Mixwell also kind of guffs it and gets killed, but the trade comes out right away. That's all that's really important. And it's a 3v3, so it's any man's game. A sight hold is very strong here. Alu's super low, but it's still walking. You don't, your gashes don't mean much in CS. It's not like you end up limping into sites, and they're going to split B, and it's the wrong site to go to. 2 people here are ready to stop them.
As we do start to see the movement from OpTic going in, JKS sits on the site. He will have to give word to Nifty here so that he can support from heaven a little bit better. But all perfect timing on the molly. They had no clue Nifty was up here. He gets a great assist on that second kill. But Magisk will trade. However, Nifty should have a general idea of where he's playing from. Misreads it a little bit, but the flash comes out from a teammate. She'll let him peek, but Alu coming back in from the other side. Mid, they have that flank lined up. Nifty holds the line, and it goes down to a 1v1. There is nowhere near enough time for that plant to come back in. So Renegades will end up winning it on the timer.
that round lives and dies with Nifty winning that duel, basically. I mean, literally, he dies in that situation, and he can't run from that duel, so he has to take it. That's it. That's the entire round. There's nothing that Magic could do once he was in heaven, but the flank there was the big thing, and that's pretty scary. That thought alone, but that's how you use a damn Molotov. Okay, that's how you use a Molotov. You let them into a vulnerable position, and then you molly them so that they're stuck. So, but they're kind of in limbo, where they're in the site, but they can't make ground. They can't do what they set out to do, but they're still committed. And it made it a lot easier for whoever it was in heaven. It might have been Naf to get that first kill at the Falmus.
Oh, there's Nifty and Azza both picking up kills at the start of the round. JKS is going to get a great lineup here too in the eco round from OpTic. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to do much, as it's a quick shutdown and all 5 alive for the Renegades now with a solid 4-round lead built up here, and Azza just going off 22-9 on the scoreboard.
So I think it was just as you said. I think now it's like 12 rounds in a row.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it was 1-7 or 8-1. 8-1. They won 7 rounds, so they won 6 there, and they won 5 here, so it's maybe 11 rounds in a row. It's like incredible. OpTic literally can't remember the last time they won a round.
Well, that's the thing. It was such like a violent turnaround too, because OpTic were just shutting down these rounds, no problem. Then all of a sudden, it kind of just completely flipped, and it's been Renegades dominating, especially on like anti-ecos and stuff. OpTic haven't stood a chance for the most part.
Yeah, it's like the annexation of Puerto Rico. I don't even know what that is, but
well, you might know what it is soon.
Whoa! Okay.
Maybe a little soon. But okay, as we do see OpTic Gaming getting ready to push in towards A. They do already have Ustillo pushed up inside of the locker rooms there.
A main control is a fickle beast. You run out of utility, you're stuck in no man's land. But if you stay here and no one comes A main, you have a fast rotate, a flank, you know that it's not a fake. There's so much value in it.
So OpTic are going to be able to swing over here pretty cleanly, actually. There won't be much of a resistance at all. Ustillo still sits in that A main spot too, so if OpTic do try to swing into that one, it's going to be very rough to actually make a lot of progress here. And Nifty, he's actually boosted up on top of this position too on Shed. Oh, but his flash still hits the shot though. Goodbye to HS, perfect timing on it. And now falls back, he'll counter-nade it. Just wait for them to push back in. OpTic do have a good way to initiate into this site. It's just about actually making the entries happen. And right now, obviously, as you can see, haven't been doing too good of a job of that. Also, I just noticed this too, that volley over there at Squeaky, perfectly timed, completely isolates 2 of the big hitters from moving into the site. And now, while Freiburg does finally get a kill, it's a small note here. And eventually, yeah, he'll just get traded out by a member of the Renegades.
That's great. Ustillo wasn't even, like, necessary almost. I mean, well, sorry. He didn't actually have to do that much work. It was this information that was the biggest play. And that allowed Nifty to stay up here and just watch mid from this really strange angle. The flash comes out, and it's funny how sometimes that's not even enough. That's actually an insanely fast shot from Nifty. That boy is quick. And that's that drawing board music. That's we should have that. We need to juxtapose the meme of, was it someone from NCIS trying to calculate the numbers?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
that's a OpTic face, no space.
That's a good one. Welp, OpTic, whatever happened to them after that 8th round they won? It seems like OpTic left the building and someone else stepped in.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they've been falling behind to a big degree, and we've just seen no turnaround to it at all. And now, finally, they take a pause, but it might be too late at this point.
Maybe it is, yeah. There's basically one rifle round between them and match point, meaning like they might have to save if they lose it. And we haven't seen them get anything done. That round was interesting as well, because there's so many good things to say about the way Renegades played it. It's even it might be hard for OpTic to figure out where they went wrong. It's like maybe it wasn't going for A main early enough. Maybe it was they didn't wait long enough to peek off the flash. But at the same time, the setup was so good. It's just like, can you be that mad?
Mixwell is going to get kind of wrecked by a nade right at the start here. Again, it is only like another half-by round for OpTic, though. So the odds for them aren't looking too good, but they do light up at least some sort of an execute here to get out onto the A set. A few smokes to block off the choke points, and the upper smoke, actually, we're going to see here, too. So I think 3 smokes total, just to make sure they don't get wrecked as soon as they push into the site, but that still may happen here, as we do have Nifty starting it off the first kill, looking for a second, too. One with the Deagle, using the whole kit here to find some frags. They'll try to boost, I think, over Redbox, but it's, oh, Nifty. He even knew that was going to be happening there. So Yustillo, someone called that out as Yustillo gets the kill. Finally, we see at least one trade as Magisk is able to knock out Yustillo, but again, these trades are just happening so late in the round. They mean very little. Great, they have site control, but what are they going to do? Now it's a 2v4. The second they try to plant that bomb, all 4 of these pit members of the Renegades probably push back in for the retake here. So Magisk has a lot of work to do. And actually, he's the one with the bomb, too, so he's going to have to be the one that plants it. Yeah, tosses that over to his teammate. And that wasn't a great toss, so...
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, Mixwell does have to fall back, and they'll just plant it in default, too, since they know it's a little bit dodgy here. In comes the Molotov, and like I said, as soon as the bomb goes down, all 4 players start to move back in. Already 1 player from OpTic dead. Magisk now alone, and the second he peeks, he's also dead. JKS takes them both down, and the Renegades go up to 14.
Supremely patient. That's all you really need to do. I love how Nifty is getting to the point where he's just eating flashes like Popeye eats spinach. Like, it's just he knows that he's going to get the kill, and he knows all he has to do is like wait a moment, time it. Like he literally stared at that flash from White Box and just waited to be unblind before he could shoot again, but didn't bother moving. And that could come with the round score and the discrepancy being so great, but also him just feeling very confident or being rewarded in the past of like staring at flashes and knowing that they like have super tight timings on their peaks. But either way, OpTic, you know, that they spent that pause maybe talking about the eco strat that they use. They probably also mentioned what they would like to do on this rifle round.
He's got those get right eyes with flashes.
Yeah.
Hazard is already going to be able to shut one down. Almost goes for a second there, too. Magisk, thankfully, the door saves quite a bit of his HP. And besides this, again, it is just a spread out strat here from OpTic. Spreading their players across the map. Not a whole lot being done to take control. HS is looking for something there. But with the smokes in the way, it is going to be very hard for him to push past it. And as he does, is he even going to check this box? Well, unfortunately, he peeks over top of it. And that's the signal for JKS to just knock out HS. And now, if they check this properly, they should know that there is 0 pressure towards B. And they should pretty much just get ready for an A hit here now. As Alu, he's going to be able to move in. At the very least, finds a little bit of an entry there. So OpTic not out of this round just yet. But there is a chance here that they do kind of get shut down the second they try to push towards the site. Half goes in. He does spot the push over towards Vents, which actually is probably going to be a pretty bad thing, too. As it looked like they did want to rotate in that direction. Magisk now got an entry on A. It's a very odd round here as individuals keep finding these entries, but the problem is they are also leaving themselves very split up. JKS, he's now going to be able to take down Alu. Nifty knows he's got pressure coming in his direction. He's low, too. The Molly is going to force him into the open. Still alive, though, but finally does end up going down, but so did Freiburg a couple seconds beforehand. So now it's just Magisk alone in a 1v2. He knows we're both in the bar as well, but he only has 20 seconds left to plant the bomb. He'll fall back over here, just go for the default plant, guarantees his team the extra money at least. And now has to try and find some way to win this, but ultimately just peeks out into Naf, who will shut it down.
Obviously a very odd round, and a lot of it was just individual plays and people making adjustments on the fly. Strange to have JKS take B main control and like get that kill, as well as like leave it in a 2v2, damage being dealt at all parts of the map. Kind of individualistic, but it was like Renegades asked for it, really, because they were pushing a lot of stuff and they were spamming and asking for, or making it seem as though they were giving OpTic a lot of opportunities. So there's OpTic just trying to capitalize in a situation where they are probably quite desperate on match point. I really didn't think I'd see, I didn't picture the scoreline. It's surprising to me that they're playing so well, honestly.
Yeah, and so now they have a chance to shut it down right here and give OpTic their 3rd loss of the season. They do have to get past it on a gun round, however, as OpTic are back up to relatively full strength. You'll note, obviously, there's no op.
Is there like a threshold for making the LAN?
It's top 6.
But like how many wins?
It's usually like 15 or 16 wins, but it kind of depends on like where everybody else is at.
Gotcha.
Because if one team is like dominant, it could lower it a little bit. Anyway, into the fight. Nifty, once again, striking first here. He's able to take down Alu. Nifty striking again here now. Again, players from OpTic are just getting deleted off the map. They've made 0 progress in middle this entire half, and that's a little bit awkward there. Mixwell doesn't realize he's peeked out of the smoke with his rifle, so Yustillo takes him down. The remaining 2 are going to execute here, but Naf found a little safe corner, and he's able to close out with a 1v2. Takes down Freiburg and Magisk, and there you go. It's Renegades dominating OpTic Gaming as they take them down with a final score of 16-8 and hand them their 3rd loss of the season.
Oh yeah, that's a very valuable demo. There's a lot to be taken away from that. The fact that OpTic got those 8 rounds, and then looking at where it all fell apart and how the adjustments came through, and looking just at like Renegade's default and how well they played their man advantages. It's great. Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does look like we have the analysts waiting for us over at the desk now, so we can take it over to them to break down map number 1.
Breakdown, we're close to that status over here, guaranteed. But, you know, Renegades getting the best here of OpTic. How are we feeling, guys?
Mental breakdown, is that what's happening?
Well, we can break down a lot of different things, I suppose.
You know, we have a couple things to look at in a second. Before that, I think the theme for me and Marcus before was, can Renegades, you know, use the inherent advantages of Cash? Can Nifty get his op working? Can Renegades counter maybe the big, what is this, giant
Behemoth.
kid? Yeah, Behemoth, that kind of approach. And can they stay confident? Just, yeah, David and Goliath. Can they be David? And
I think there was like a turning point in the game. It was around, the score was like 8-2. Even though Renegades didn't win the round, is when Azure killed 3 extra people to make it a 1v1, but the time ran out and they lost, right? So that was kind of like the beginning of the economy ticking down from OpTic, and then Renegades would win the next round, and then they ended up making the half 7-8, which is as close as it can be when it was looking very grim at 1-8.
Yeah.
So I think it was like when they started playing with confidence and they stopped hurrying their plays and letting things develop is when the tides changed.
That's a great point. So I think a couple of the replays we chose tie into that. So I think if we have them ready, Trace.
Yeah, I mean, do you want them? You guys want them right now?
Yeah, I want it.
All right, let's get them right now. Round 3 loaded up for you guys. Walk us through it.
So this round is, I think they boosted Mixwell up on the Shroud box. I think we need to come up with a new name for that. I inherently don't like calling things after player names. It just seems weird, especially when you're explaining it to a first-time player. Yeah, it's like, yeah, but it's just kind of weird, right? So he gets a sick play here, and what I want to talk about is that on CT side Cash, if a team knows how to play T side, you have to make dynamic plays like this, right? You cannot just sit back, play a 2-1-2, let them have mid, let them have, you know, B main control, let them have all of Squeaky and A main, because you're going to lose, right? So you need to make plays like this on CT side. What did you see from that?
Well, you know, for me, what I didn't want to see, and what's cool is I think the replays after will kind of elaborate on what I'm saying is, early on in the half, a map like Cash, if you're going to make a play like they did in Run Outdoor, you probably have some kind of read on them, right? So maybe they like to see how the other team plays A, and they know what they want to play. Their coach, Kassad, gave them maybe some good info. Problem I have here is they smoked A main. There's a high chance they boost it on the box. And the first person that comes out, he does, I think, get a kill fork, and then they get the triple kill. I just feel like second guy, like out of a protocol like that when you're coming outdoor, like it's easy to get caught in the moment. Maybe if that was super late round, they ran out the door and died. But early round right there, if you're going to make a play like 3 outdoor, either have a plan to have the second guy look right up, or just don't do that strat that early in the half. One of my favorite things about a map like Cash, I keep equating it to Cobble, is the first round you could make the CTs do certain things. You could take checker control on Cash and force the CTs to play 2B the rest of the half when you just throw B main smoke. You could throw A fake to a mid control first round and force them to like respect that. So I feel like a play like that, if Renegades is going to do that in the future, they need to think it a bit more through because that doesn't help you set up the half. And I think the next we have another replay, Trace.
We do have round 6. It's pretty much forcing the issue is what you're saying.
Yeah, so round 6 again. It's a gun round. They have look at the nades Renegades have a lot to work with, and what do they do? Send 4B right away in a position that's not even ready to be pushed. So again, I have no problem with them starting 4B, but look at how what did the OpTic guys do? Except I guess they swung through a molly, right? So they had kind of a contingency plan, but don't have everybody on the left side of that B main. Have them 1 deep right, 1 close left, 2 in the back. That's really easy to happen. And then this is what I wanted to show the next round. They have Deagles, and they literally wait out the nades from wait out the nades from OpTic, and they get these kills on the guys A simply by just playing a little bit slower. And I think they end up losing the round, but they come down to a 1-on-1.
Yeah, it's like the first round that they get close to winning, right? And it's no armor with Deagles.
I think HS wins a sweet 1v2 this round.
Yeah.
So this, but luckily enough, Renegades takes that, and right after that round, they start playing slower. I think it goes to 7-1 or something, but then they end the half well and strong. And, you know, by playing slower, they allow Nifty to get those kills. You know, he had some sweet shots that have to play well.
And allows you to make reads.
But, you know,
right? You're making reads
exactly.
On the CTs
You're
as
making
well
reads. They start taking mid-control the following rounds and enable themselves to play a fair match because it's not a skill thing only that they're losing to OpTic. They're losing mentally and just forcing plays like they did those first couple gun rounds.
Well, we certainly can't talk about this match any more in depth than bringing up Nifty in the second half. What he was able to bring to the table there for the Renegades.
Oh, he was not missing. He was hitting every shot basically, right? Like if you're an opper and you're hitting all the shots you need to, then the game's
right
like
here. He's literally standing here, holding picks mid, getting these kills. I think a guy's about to peek Z, gets this kill. What are they doing right now? They're not doing anything. They're holding with a little bit of a setup, holding that B push. Hey, you could have done that 5th round when you had full utility. You know, and the thing is I've been on that side of what they're thinking of, like send 4B early, get ready to take advantage.
It takes surprise of a team that's on paper better.
Yeah, and so it's like we talked about on Train the other day, like little things mid-round. Was that Renegades as well, who went late outside and lost, right? So Renegades seems to have a lot of good ideas, but there's subtleties that they're overlooking. Maybe they're overexcited. Hey, we're sending 4B.
Do it at the right time.
Yeah, remember.
There's a time and place for every strat, basically.
Time and place, but even if you're going to do something out of place, have the setup be ready. If you're going to go outdoor, make sure the second guy checks up. If you're going to hold 4B, make sure everyone's holding something and one turn, etc. So,
planning is everything, but plans mean nothing, right?
Failing to plan is planning to fail.
Exactly.
Something along those lines.
Renegades they have an idea, but it's got to be fleshed out a bit more.
And it comes a little bit of formulating it and putting it together. But we're going to be going on to Train on our second best of one here between these two teams. And just real briefly, because we're going to get into it more in depth when we come back. What can we expect? Can we expect that same sort of like strong start from OpTic? Is it going to be Renegades now that they're awake and online? Like, what's going on here?
I think Alu needs to wake up, especially on the op. You know, Train's a map where in-opper can completely take control. Like we've seen that in the past with Shazam on Misfits, right? He can just carry them on CT side with his op if he's in the right place at the right time. Other than that, I think it could be pretty close here, but I'd have to edge towards OpTic.
Well, I would like to edge towards a break now. I like edging. We do like to edge up here. Regardless, we're going to be going to Train when we come back. We've got OpTic and we've got the Renegades, so make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.